hear me all right? Okay, good. My voice carries, so usually I don't have any problem with that. But thank you all for coming to our talk about how to and how Trello enables work-life integration. And my name is Britt. If you don't know me, I am absolutely obsessed with Trello. I've been using it for over a decade for personal projects and work projects and everything in between. I created a newsletter and a YouTube channel about Trello, and I even wrote a book about Trello. So I have copies for that I'm selling and signing at the Trello booth. So come over and grab a copy if you want. But yeah, I dabbled around in the other Atlassian products like Confluence and Jira, and I found a world where all of these tools work together for different purposes and help me stay on top of everything.
And on my day, if you're on LinkedIn or the Atlassian community, you probably better know me by this. So I'm a Trello consultant, and I've been consulting with Trello for 4 or 5 years, but I've been using it for about a decade. I'm a pretty simple person, so Trello is perfect for me. And it is the one tool that I found that can really bridge personal and work life perfectly. You can use it on home projects, you can use it at work, it can use it every situation. So that's why I love it, and that's why I'm here to talk about it.
Yeah, you're gonna get a beat. Yeah, that's sweet. That's sweet. Thank you.
Is that what, right?
Yeah.
I didn't hit it hard.
So, a quick one. Raise your hands if, at the end of the day, you end up with a to-do list that's bigger than when you started. All of us, right? So just think about the sort of working day, a normal day. It involves work, it probably involves some project work, some teamwork, you have meetings in between. In between that, you have your day-to-day activities, you have to take the animals to the vet, you have to take the kids to school, and all of this stuff comes at you, flies at you, and there's no real way of kind of bringing that all into one place so you know what to do.
So most companies give you a single tool to keep track of your work, as everything fits in a Jira. We've all seen this, we've all got this. They think your to-do list is the things that are assigned to you, and they fit nicely in a Jira project, and there's an issue here, an issue there, and that's all you've got to do today, right? Like, that's it, just what you see on Jira. That's part of it, but that is never the entire story.
Yeah, so this is what a day really looks like. But how many people work in a team that spend a lot more of their time doing things outside of that teamwork? Exactly. You have to go to meetings, you have to talk to customers. All of this stuff isn't going to fit into a Jira project. So we're looking for how do you fit that into your daily life and your daily work, and how do you bring it all together in one place?
It's exhausting trying to jump between all of those things. The idea of work-life balance that everybody talks about is the idea of splitting things out, so you have time where you handle work things and time where you handle personal things. But as you just saw on that slide, life never quite works like that, right? There's lots of things coming at you from all different directions, and you can't always control what's happening when, and you've got things coming in you need to capture and organize and be aware of and deal with at different times. So what if instead of trying to separate everything out, we find a way to bring everything together so we can see what we're dealing with and prioritize and plan accordingly, so we can actually make sure we have a realistic workload and nothing slips through the cracks, rather than checking all of the different places.
So this stat here, 89% of respondents say teammates that organise their tasks are most productive. So have you ever worked with a co-worker who's disorganised? Are you disorganised? How does it affect you? So the idea that individual productivity and what you can achieve directly affects your team is so important. Your team is only going to be really productive if you're really productive as well. And that means you have to manage way beyond just what your team does.
Trello has always been my go-to tool for keeping myself organized and staying on top of things and capturing my ideas. But they've actually just released some new features that make this way easier to do, and you don't have to nerd out about all sorts of complicated things that I've done to make that possible. Show us, Mike.
Yeah, so here's a quick overview.
The doors to our opening keynote are now open.
But you don't want to go yet, you want to stay here. All right, good.
Put something down. This is.
matches, being able to capture everything all in one place.
I can forward this email to inbox and let Atlassian AI parse it and add it to my inbox. I can save this message in Slack and say Atlassian AI can parse it and add it to my inbox. That hallway conversation about the marketing presentation being postponed can be added via Siri. Once I have it on my inbox, the new Trello planner can help me find time to get it all done. And just like that, I can get everything done without getting overwhelmed.
So now that's a nice video, but what does that actually look like for the rest of us? Like it's all very flashy, but you know, what does that mean? How do we actually use these things? How do we integrate them and make sure that we're able to actually handle all of those things rather than just seeing something nice and flashy there? Let's take a look at a few examples, and I'll bet you're going to be able to relate to at least one of these.
Okay, so in this example, the business owner. So, two sides of being a business owner is you've got to try and make money, and you've got to try and find ways of marketing yourself. So, with this example, you're going to be able to use the inbox to capture things that you want to do, and you're going to be wanting to put that into slots of your day. So you can use focus time in Trello's new planner, which enables you to set a fixed amount of time to focus on those marketing activities that grow your business around all the other things that you've got to do. And it's a really powerful feature to be able to open up those tasks and look at them in a very focused way and check them off as you get them done in that block of time.
Yeah, and we've also got probably some marketing folks here or people who are working across a lot of teams. I'm working in development now, but I used to be a marketer, and I remember I wore all the hats. I worked with all of the teams, whether it's product and sales or managing freelance bloggers. There's boards for everything, and I previously would encourage people to try to keep as much as they could in one Trello board just because it was the easiest way to view it all. But with new changes with hard mirroring, you can actually let work happen in the boards it needs to happen, but bring it all into a consolidated view. And you don't have to worry about building some wild automation or paying a lot of money for any syncing tools to bring that data back and forth. This is just all part of Trello now. So you can create the cards on whatever boards they live in, but then actually bring it into your own personal board and have that view. And I've actually started using automation where I just say when I'm added to a card in another board, just create a mirrored card in my board, and then I can see here's what I'm doing today, here's what I'm working on, and I don't have to go to that board. I can just click the card from my board. It's going to open the card and let me make whatever edits there, and it's going to sync over. So there's no needing to actually jump around to different boards and do what I need to there.
And so this example, when I went to Team'25 in Barcelona, I had some conversations with people who said that their work was very well organised at a team level. They had a Jira project that they were working on, and as a team, they knew what the team needed to do, but they still struggled to manage their own productivity because they were working on stuff outside of that. So there's some new Trello features such as Jira List, where you can capture items from a Jira workspace and have them displayed on a list in Trello. And you can also bring in through the inbox, capture things from Slack. So if someone's made a Slack message that needs to be turned into a task, you can bring that into Trello. And emails can be forwarded into Trello. So you can kind of build this picture of all the stuff I've got to do in my day-to-day work within the team and bring it all together with all the work that you've got to do outside of that, whether it's meetings, even personal stuff. Say you need to book a flight for next week. You can forward that email into the inbox and then put it into your planner and have it all centralized in one place.
Yeah, so all of these changes are really exciting, but it can be a little overwhelming figuring out how this plugs into your workflows and what you need to do with that. And so for these reasons, there are a lot of people who like to nerd out about stuff like this, like me. So I recommend going to the Atlassian community. If you're not already part of it, you definitely should join. There's a whole section dedicated to Trello, but there's also stuff for Jira and Confluence and all of of the other amazing things. And it's a great place to ask questions or get inspiration. Mike and I are in there all the time answering questions about how do I do this in Trello, or why is it doing this? What should it look like? But also, I have a free weekly Trello newsletter, literally dedicated to Trello with tips and tricks and use cases and all sorts of things, more than you may ever want to know about Trello, and a YouTube channel where I share like walkthroughs and tutorials and how to do things. So you can scan these QR codes. I feel like I'm standing in the way of them. But yeah, if you're interested in learning more, Mike offers services to actually like help you build this stuff out with consulting. And yeah, I don't know if you want to say more to
Yeah,
that.
so I offer consulting services for Trello. So Trello is a very simple tool, so anyone can pick it up, anyone can create things, but it gets to the point where maybe you need a little bit of help to optimize that and make it as efficient as possible. And that's where I come in. I can kind of help you out, build out your Trello workspace, use more of the Trello features, in particular automation, and make yourself even more efficient and more productive.
Yeah, and so with that, we've left a little bit of time for questions. Does anybody have any questions at all about anything in Trello, about these new features, about how to use them, how to make it talk to Jira? Oh no. And I think, do they have microphones? I don't know if they were passing those out or not, but if anyone has questions, if you want to raise your hands. What's something you'd like to see in Trello? I'm curious from people's standpoints. One of the questions I have for you all, these features like the Jira list, I think it's really cool if you're using Jira, as I'm sure a lot of you are, but what are some other tools that you're using that you'd like to see things come in there? Like for instance, my team uses GitHub. I'd love to see GitHub come in there, so I'm curious. Yeah, also I think we've got something over here.
Yeah, so if you've got forwarding to email,
Yeah.
Trello by email, you have to have one like email address that's connected to your Trello account. There are ways of using, if you use like Gmail for example, you can set up some forwarding rules to help with that sort of thing. The other option is to set up like a service account in Trello, so if you've got an inbox, just match that service account. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like, it's funny. We're actually wearing T-shirts for like email for Trello, which is Power Up that helps you with managing like shared inboxes and things. And when you're trying to use Trello for like communication, so let's say you're handling customer support tickets in Jira, but you want to be able to handle that shared inbox of things coming in. In Trello, you can kind of make them talk back and forth with each other instead of automation. So like when this Jira ticket moves here, it's gonna go, change something in Trello.
They were on, I
and
didn't
then trigger
hang
an email to send and say, hey, we close your ticket, or we haven't heard from you, or whatever you need to do with that. So yeah, there's lots of opportunities there for plugging in those sort of things.